A big story. The NHS is to launch its first ever service for transgender patients wanting to return to the gender of their birth. Now, the move is to help people detransition, which was announced as part of the CAS review, and common sense, finally. Well, joining me now is the Director of Campaigns at Sex Matters, Fiona McAnena. Fiona, thank you very much for joining me. So, finally, a service for people who want to detransition. It's been a long time, really, long time coming.
Yes, well, the people campaigning around the transgender issue have always insisted there are no detransitioners. They've always said people know what they are, they make their decision, they never change their minds. But we've known that's not true. There haven't been very good studies of it, but when people have tried to investigate, a number of things have happened. One person who tried to do an academic study on it was refused permission by his university to do it. They were worried about bringing the university into disrepute. So the actual data has not been out there. Other people have found that detransitioners, people who changed their mind, didn't go back to the clinic that had transitioned them. Or if they did go back, the clinic said, we can do nothing for you. So you potentially have a big population of people who are lost to the medical system. No one knows how many. And, you know, they do have complex medical needs because taking cross-sex hormones, with or without surgery, makes permanent changes to people's bodies, and some of those are not good.
Well, isn't part of this as well that for the detransitioning, they don't sorry, excuse me, they don't go back to where they went either, because of course if you go back you could be convinced to nothing to see here, or the numbers, who's going to admit that people are detransitioning at a certain rate? They don't have the data, do they?
Yeah, that's right. There was a letter today that Dr. Hilary Cass wrote to NHS England about the adult gender clinics. And in it, she said that some clinics treat those who go back expressing regret at their transition as just another type of dysphoria. Rather than say, this person made a mistake and now we have to help them deal with that, they say, oh, this is just another stage in your gender journey. And that's brutal. So it's no wonder those people just give up and go away.
They're very, very difficult to deal with. But interesting that this has only just come up now, because it seems quite clear to me that a lot of people who've transitioned, who do want to detransition, don't know where to go. Where have they been going before this?
Well, who knows? I mean, it's been very much suppressed. It's been difficult to get any numbers at all. There are a few brave individuals who talk about this. Of course, they rightly say, we're not detransitioning because you cannot undo the things that have happened, but they do need medical help. So just for example, women who've taken testosterone for a number of years end up with incontinence, prolapse of their internal organs, very serious consequences. Yeah, that's just one thing that no one wants to talk about. So I suspect there may be many of these people, and many of them will be young, you know, in their late teens and in their 20s, who are really desperate for this kind of help. And of course, they're made to feel ashamed. They're made to feel that it's somehow their fault because they were so sure of their identity. One of the adult clinics, reportedly in Dr. Cass's letter, had the philosophy that it's up to patients to make their own mistakes. I wouldn't call that healthcare. Wow,
that's quite a serious mistake. It's an irreversible mistake, actually, and no one wants to make that mistake at all. Fiona, just very, very briefly, I wanted to touch on your thoughts on the boxing situation with Khalifa, who has, the International Boxing Association have said that she, I think it's she, has XY chromosomes, which are, of course, male. And what are your thoughts on all of this, in particular in the field of boxing?
Well, the focus needs to be on the IOC here because they're running the boxing in Paris. This is happening in boxing because their position is, I don't care what sex you are, if you say you're a female, that's good enough. And they've said that very explicitly. And the consequences in boxing are potentially very serious. And I think that's why it's getting so much attention. But this is happening in other sports too. The boxers in question, or their national federations, or the IOC could all put a stop to this speculation by putting the information out, but they have refused to do so, and we can draw our own conclusions from that. I think it's clearly not a good situation for any of the boxers, but it's the women in that competition who concern me most.
Yeah, because we'll probably end up with the final with, well, two biological males fighting against each other in the women's boxing. Fiona McAnena, thank you very much.